Hey, how you doing? Welcome back to Them Brothers from Inglewood Podcast. I'm Hoopy, your host, coming to you with another interesting topic. But before I do, I want to ask if you would so kindly like, subscribe, share, ring the notification button so that you'll be abreast as to when we're airing fresh and new episodes. Well, I have a very hot topic that I'd like to discuss. We're going to talk about the 2026 NBA draft and how that turned out and what can we expect now that these draftees have been selected to various teams. Well, I have to start first and foremost with the number one pick, DYBANTSA, and how he impacted this draft process and what he did to do so. Now, number one, we understand his resume. We know that he has been clearly the number one player in his class throughout high school. A couple of years or times of the year, Cameron Boozer actually challenged him for the number one spot. But overall, he was the number one prep player in high school basketball in the class of 2025. But what was so impressive for me about this young man is, number one, he's very level-headed and his parents are adequately involved in his life. I don't mean in the sense of controlling him or manipulating him. I believe that he has great parents and a great supporting cast. His parents are educated. His parents are former athletes, but they're also educators, and I believe the father is an astute businessman. So with that being said, he's been properly trained and developed. It's a big difference in raising your children and developing your children. And when you sit down and talk to this young man and you listen to how he expresses himself and how he communicates and articulates his thoughts, you can tell that he's a very polished and poised person. I always felt not only was he the best talent in his class and in college basketball, I felt that he was the best all-around person in the perspective of joining a professional organization. I really liked watching him play down through the years. I was not privy to his game and his abilities until he was probably a 10th grader. So I don't have the closeness and the information that most of you have pertaining to AJ, but I do know that he was a terrific talent and person. He seemed to be a very team-oriented guy. He really shared the basketball. He has a high IQ. He really knows what he's doing. He doesn't seem like he's in a hurry. You can't really speed him up. And he's big. He's 6'9", 6'10", and he's very agile. He reminds me of quite a few players in the past. His cerebral thought process is like, wow, it's off the charts, because he really thinks the basketball game. And he has like an impact like a Lamar Odom. A lot of people didn't like Lamar Odom. They thought he had an immature game or approach towards the game, that he wasn't as professional. And hey, maybe so, but when you put him on a basketball floor, he was quite a special athlete. And AJ reminds me of a person similar to that, where he could impact a game from every standpoint, from rebounding, passing, to scoring, to shooting, to playing defense. I just thought he was a tremendous pick. And of course, the Utah Jazz was hoping that he would fall to number 2 so they could select him, being that he actually played high school basketball in the state of Utah, Salt Lake City area, which is also familiar to me because I played in the state of Utah when I was a basketball and football player also. But Here's the thing that really stood out to me during this draft. When the process of these players being evaluated and being approached by different organizations and different leadership, they really go through the protocol, which is they do the background, they do the interviews. You go to the NBA combines, where most of the guys have to play, whereas the top really 5 picks, they don't really have to play. If a person is projected to be 1 through 3, a lot of times they're not going to play. They're just going to go do the interviews. They're going to do all of the physical assessments, meaning they're going to, get tested. They're going to pretty much get their height and weight, and they're going to do all of those things, the medical things. They're just going to go through that process. They're not actually going to compete. They're not going to do drills. They're not going to go 5-on-5, 3-on-3, 2-on. They're not going to do any shell offenses or defenses. They're not going to do any of the playing part. And that's always interesting because a lot of times guys really need to do that. They really need for the NBA general managers, the owners, to take a closer look at them, because sometimes they're not quite sure. They're still kind of on the fence and they're skeptical. And then it's business. And a lot of times they want to get the best guy for the best price, and all of those things are factors. But look what AJ did. AJ, when he was asked to work out for several teams, he told them no. It was an emphatic no. He did not work out for anybody. He told them basically, you should have enough information, data, you should have enough film, you should have went and done your research as it relates to the things that I have already done in my resume. When he began to explain why he was not going to work out, it was simple, but he also impacted the entire protocol and process for players moving forward. If you are confident that you have enough information out there, you have footage, you have experience where these people have come to see you play. And that was another thing AJ said. He said, you've seen me play. You know my body of work. Either you're gonna draft me or you're not gonna draft me, because I'm not working out. And usually those workouts are like 45 minutes. Sometimes it can go beyond an hour, but those workouts are really for guys who are really trying to prove themselves. And over the years, or let's just say in times past, a lot of those GMs and owners were really trying to get a last look live and up close. And that's what it was really all about. It wasn't about anything else.